What if the very things that make you happiest, your favorite shows, the apps you can't stop checking, the snacks and luxuries you treat yourself to, were actually the same things keeping you trapped? Picture a world where the shackles don't clang or cut into your skin, but instead feel soft, almost comforting. Imagine laughing at your phone, scrolling late into the night, chasing the next sale, the next notification, all while faint, invisible chains quietly wrap tighter around your life. Aldous Huxley, in his unsettling masterpiece Brave New World, painted exactly this kind of future. A society not ruled by fear or violence, but by a constant stream of pleasures so enticing that no one dared to question them. In his world, people were kept docile not with prisons, but with soma, a bliss-inducing drug that erased discomfort and silenced discontent. And yet, when you look around today, our soma is everywhere. It's in the constant ping of notifications, the endless scroll, the on-demand entertainment, the instant deliveries. We are surrounded by comforts, each one promising happiness, each one quietly demanding our attention and our freedom in return. By the end of this video, you'll see the hidden price of this comfort, why pleasure can be the most dangerous form of control, and how you can start breaking free from a system designed to keep you happily enslaved. Aldous Huxley's Brave New World was more than just a work of fiction. It was a warning disguised as a story. In his imagined society, people lived in a state of constant contentment. Not real joy, not deep fulfillment, just a manufactured happiness designed to keep them docile. There was no need for oppression when there was no desire to rebel. No one questioned the meaning of life because the distractions were too sweet, too constant, too perfectly satisfying. In that world, people were kept calm and compliant by soma, a drug that erased all discomfort. No heartbreak could last. No anxiety could linger. No thought could truly trouble the mind. And because no one felt pain, no one had a reason to challenge the system that kept them numb. Now think about our own reality. We may not be swallowing soma, but we've built our own version, an endless buffet of dopamine hits. We have 1,000 tiny pleasures at our fingertips. The quick scroll through social media, the streaming service that auto-plays the next episode, the delivery app that brings comfort food to our door without us moving a muscle. We don't need to confront boredom, loneliness, or dissatisfaction. We can swipe, tap, or click it away in seconds. But here's the question we rarely stop to ask. What is all this comfort costing us? Are we more alive, or just more distracted? Have we gained happiness, or traded something much more valuable for the illusion of it? The truth is, we've stepped into a version of Huxley's world, one where control isn't enforced from the outside, but willingly accepted from within. And the most dangerous part? It feels good. Science has a way of stripping illusions bare. And when we look at pleasure through the lens of neuroscience, the picture becomes uncomfortably clear. Every time we experience something enjoyable, whether it's the rush of likes on a post, the taste of something sweet, or the thrill of a purchase, our brain releases dopamine. It's the brain's way of saying, that felt good. Do it again. But here's the trap. Dopamine isn't just about the reward itself. It's about the anticipation. In fact, research shows we often get a bigger dopamine surge from looking forward to pleasure than from actually experiencing it. That's why you keep checking your phone, even when you know there's nothing new. It's why you refresh your notifications, why you open the fridge just to stare at it, why you think about the next thing before the current one has even lost its flavor. You're chasing the possibility of a reward, not the reward itself. Technology companies know this, and they've weaponized it. Former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris explains that social media platforms and apps are built on the same principles as slot machines, intermittent variable rewards. You never know exactly what you'll get, the post that makes you laugh, the comment that flatters you, the headline that shocks you. That uncertainty is what hooks you. Every refresh, every swipe is another pull of the lever. And because the cycle is designed to keep us engaged, we end up feeding it without thinking. We pick up our phones instinctively, not because we need to, but because our brains have been trained to seek that next hit. The problem is, these dopamine bursts are short-lived, and when they fade, we're left with the urge to start the cycle again. It's a loop, and like any addictive loop, it keeps us coming back, even when it leaves us emptier than before. There's a name for this cycle. Psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill. It's the phenomenon where no matter how much happiness we experience, we quickly adapt and return to our baseline. That burst of joy you get from buying something new, it fades faster than you expect. The thrill of a new relationship, a promotion, a big win, give it time, and it becomes just another part of your normal life. The treadmill keeps moving, and so do we, not because we're making progress, but because we're chasing the next fix. You get the new phone, but within months it feels outdated. You try the new restaurant, but a week later you're scrolling for the next place to eat. It's a cycle of anticipation, satisfaction, and almost immediate boredom. And so the chase begins again. Huxley warned that pleasure could be the most insidious form of control, and the hedonic treadmill is exactly why. When we're trapped in constant pursuit, we're too distracted to notice what we're giving up: our time, our attention, our deeper potential. The tragedy is that while we're chasing more, we're often running in place. Modern research has made this even more alarming. A 2020 study in the Journal of Affective Disorders found that excessive screen time, especially on social media, correlates with higher rates of anxiety and depression. And the cruel irony? The more disconnected we feel, the more we turn to the very devices and platforms that perpetuate that disconnection. It's a self-reinforcing loop. Feeling empty leads us to seek pleasure, and seeking pleasure in these quick-hit ways only deepens the emptiness. The truth is, the hedonic treadmill doesn't just keep us moving, it keeps us moving in circles. And while we're running, we're not asking the deeper question: where is all this really taking us? There's a kind of control that doesn't look like control at all. It doesn't shout orders, doesn't lock you behind bars, doesn't even threaten you. Instead, it wraps you in a warm blanket, offers you a soft chair, and whispers, "Relax. Everything you need is right here." This is what political thinker Alexis de Tocqueville called soft tyranny, a form of power that wins your compliance not by force, but by comfort. In Huxley's Brave New World, this was the genius of the system. No one had to be coerced, because no one wanted to resist. When pleasure is abundant and discomfort is rare, rebellion feels unnecessary. Why risk the unknown when the known feels so easy? And yet, this is the quiet danger in our world today. Every convenience, the smart device that thinks for us, the app that delivers food to our door in minutes, the service that anticipates our needs before we even voice them, makes life smoother. But the smoother life becomes, the more dependent we grow on the systems providing it. Dependency doesn't feel like enslavement, it feels like progress. But there's a hidden trade-off. Each time we choose the path of least resistance, we hand over a little more of our autonomy. We let algorithms decide what we see. We let trends dictate what we value. We let convenience replace effort. And here is the question that cuts to the bone. When was the last time you chose discomfort for the sake of growth? When did you last push against the easy option, not because you had to, but because it was the harder, better path? Huxley understood something chilling: that a society lulled by comfort will give up its freedom willingly, even gratefully. The chains don't feel heavy when they're made of silk, but they're still chains. If comfort can quietly steal our freedom, then purpose is what can give it back. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, argued that true fulfillment doesn't come from chasing happiness. It comes from finding purpose. Happiness is a side effect of a life lived with meaning, not the goal itself. Frankl identified three primary sources of meaning. First, creating something of value, whether it's art, a business, a family, or simply a moment of beauty that didn't exist before you made it. Second, experiencing love and deep connection, the kind that can't be replicated by likes, comments, or algorithm-driven interactions. And third, growing through suffering, the ability to take hardship, pain, and even loss, and transform them into strength, wisdom, and empathy. These are not instant pleasures. They don't come with a quick dopamine hit. They demand time, effort, and presence. But that's exactly why they last. Think about your own life. How much of your time is spent chasing quick hits of gratification, a show to binge, a feed to scroll, a snack to nibble, and how much is spent on building something that will outlast the moment? When you look back years from now, what will matter more? The hours you spent lost in distraction, or the moments you poured yourself into something meaningful? Purpose is the antidote to the pleasure trap because it shifts the question from what feels good now to what will matter in the end. And when your life is anchored to that question, the pull of shallow distractions begins to lose its grip. These are not instant pleasures. They don't come with a quick dopamine hit. They demand time, effort, and presence. But that's exactly why they last. Think about your own life. How much of your time is spent chasing quick hits of gratification, a show to binge, a feed to scroll, a snack to nibble, and how much is spent on building something that will outlast the moment? When you look back years from now, what will matter more? The hours you spent lost in distraction or the moments you poured yourself into something meaningful? Purpose is the antidote to the pleasure trap because it shifts the question from what feels good now to what will matter in the end. And when your life is anchored to that question, the pull of shallow distractions begins to lose its grip. If purpose is the destination, then discipline is the road that gets you there. Former Navy SEAL Jocko Willink says it simply, discipline equals freedom. At first, it sounds like a contradiction. How can restriction lead to freedom? But in truth, discipline isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about taking control of your choices, rather than letting impulse or habit control you. Discipline is waking up early to write, even when your bed is warm. It's turning off notifications so you can focus deeply on a task without your attention being hijacked. It's resisting the mindless scroll when your brain craves an easy distraction and instead picking up a book, working on a project, or calling someone you care about. These small acts of self-control might seem insignificant, but each one is a small reclaiming of your life. Every time you choose to do what's right over what's easy, you strengthen your ability to stay the course. And over time, those small choices stack up, shaping who you are, how you think, and what you're capable of. This is why discipline creates freedom. Because when you master your habits, you free yourself from being ruled by them. You stop being at the mercy of every craving, every ping, every fleeting desire. And in a world built to exploit your impulses, that kind of self-control is an act of rebellion. The truth is, you can't stumble your way into a meaningful life. You have to build it, brick by brick, choice by choice. And discipline is the tool that makes that building possible. So now, the question comes back to you. You've seen the warning Huxley gave us, a world where pleasure is the leash, comfort the cage, and compliance the quiet default. You've seen how dopamine, distraction, and convenience can keep us running in circles, thinking we're free when in truth, we're simply well managed. But you've also seen the way out. Purpose as your compass, discipline as your shield, and the courage to choose what matters over what's easy. This isn't about rejecting pleasure altogether. Joy, beauty, and rest are essential parts of life. It's about refusing to let them become your master. From this point on, every moment you feel the pull toward the easy choice is a moment of decision. Will you give in to the endless scroll, the quick fix, the comfortable numbness? Or will you choose the harder path, the one that asks more of you, but gives back something lasting? The chains we've talked about today aren't made of metal. They're invisible. They don't clink or drag. They feel light, harmless, even pleasant. But they are still chains, and only you can break them. So choose wisely. Step away from the path of passive consumption and step into a life built on intention. Not just for yourself, but for everyone who sees your example and realizes they can break free too. This is your moment. The system thrives on your distraction. Deny it. Your potential depends on your focus. Protect it. And when history looks back on this age of comfort, let it find you among the few who chose freedom over pleasure.